देवियों और सज्जनों, वेलकम बैक टू फुटबॉल पे विवाद एंड वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट a very much anticipated game between Manchester United and Ipswich Town. Well, बोलते हुए मुझे थोड़ा वो लग रहा है कि एक much anticipated game of Manchester United after a long time because eras come to an end and Ten Hag का era end पे आ चुका है and Ruben Amorim का era start हो रहा है. So we have once again in the panel No Trophies Tottenham Atharva and we also have Mr. Caden जिसकी टीम कल ही बनी है एंड कल ही वो फैन भी बना
Yes.
है पढ़ो चेल्सी की किट पे. सो वेलकम केडन एंड अथर्व.
Yes. Thank you so much for having all of us here, both of us here. इतना मेरे को मतलब कभी ऐसा फील हो रहा है कि बेसिकली मैं ऑस्कर की स्पीच दे रहा हूँ जब भी मैं यहाँ पे बोलता हूँ सच अ बिग ऑनर. आई हैव टू टेक इट इन एवरी सिंगल टाइम मैं यहाँ पे बैठता हूँ. और मतलब आई मीन 150 लोग देख रहे हैं इसे और होपफुली देख रहे हैं इसे. दैट इज टू मच.
150
क्रेजी.
150. I expected like 151. Like as from watching the past channel, 151 मैंने expect किया था.
चलो गाइस, लेट्स नॉट भटकते नहीं है टॉपिक से. भाई टॉपिक यूनाइटेड है. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द ग्रेटेस्ट क्लब ऑफ इंग्लैंड भाई, द हिस्टोरिकल क्लब ऑफ इंग्लैंड बिकॉज हिस्ट्री बन चुकी है यूनाइटेड. And United versus Ipswich Town, by very important game from the perspective of United as well, and from the perspective of Ipswich as well, and from the perspective of neutral fans as well. So firstly, I'd like to ask your take on it, Mr. Atharva. Go for it, bhai.
Well, obviously, good match, a very exciting one. I mean, from Manchester United's perspective, this is the game to see if Ruben Amorim is fit for Manchester United and if अगर वो काम कर सकते हैं या नहीं अच्छे से. I mean, obviously, it's not necessary कि up and coming managers are always good for big league teams. I mean, हमने एक era अभी खत्म होते हुए देखा है एरिक टेन हाग सर जी का. उनके साथ भी सिमिलर ही हुआ था. एंड this is not a testament, but it definitely is one of the hurdles that they need to cross because the first game is usually one of the most important ones. It tells you all of the tactical awareness of the team and how United are united with Ruben Amorim. That's a very important question. Ipswich के लिए obviously बहुत ही important match है. Obviously, you're facing a big six club. They have just or very recently defeated one of a very esteemed and another big six club in the Premier League recently. Yeah. And I mean, Ipswich के हिसाब से I think this is one of those times wherein United are vulnerable. I mean, it's not easy for a team to go through a tactical change within 2 weeks. I mean, this is why usually जब managers sack होते हैं, they are sacked early in the summer January summer window or the summer transfer window, so that they have around at least 3 to 4 weeks and at least 5 to 6 friendlies in order to get well used to what the tactics are. Obviously, Ruben Amorim ki tactics, they are very offensively gifted, and I think Ruben Amorim ka this tactical situation is a very big question mark because I think at Sporting he was working with what he got. I mean, he had obviously, some great players and he managed to get the best out of them. But it's a lot more difficult to do that with Manchester United, considering they are already established players who have a self-identity which they do not want to break.
Bhai, firstly, I would like to correct you कि this is the best time for Ipswich to defeat United because United gets defeated every time. At least कुछ 2-3 सालों में. In 2-3 सालों में, obviously. No hate, and it is not a meme reaction. Obviously, this is a proper video. So yeah, next week. So yeah, when I personally look into what you have said, देख मुझे लगता है Ruben Amorim, what he got in Sporting was already there, right? And was set of players काफी they were young, they were hungry completely. But फिर अगर तू United में देखता है ना, these are the players जिसके under coaches like Ole, coaches like Mr. Ten Hag, coaches like even Jose Mourinho, right? These guys got sacked एंड अगर ये बार बार रिपीटेडली हो रहा है ना, तो आई डोंट थिंक कि द प्रॉब्लम इज विद द मैनेजर और द कोच, राइट? आई थिंक द प्रॉब्लम इज विद द प्लेयर्स, क्योंकि देख, मैनेजर्स चल ज्यादा से ज्यादा दिल pump you up, they'll play their tactics. And let me always remind you that the job of a manager and a coach is not to always do the tactical shit and all those things. It's basically man managing, ठीक है? तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा एक मैनेजर क्या कर सकता है? he can pump you up, he can play you in that position, he can give you the freedom, right? बट फिर जब आपके प्लेयर्स ही परफॉर्म ना करें, एंड ये कंसिस्टेंटली हुआ है यूनाइटेड में, देख, why didn't Ole work भाई? वो Ole worked, but भाई वापस वो भाई प्लेयर्स के साथ नहीं बनी, परफॉर्मेंसेस नहीं है, Ole got sacked. उसके बाद राल्फ रागनिक भाई got sacked, brother came in, Erik ten Hag sacked. So set of
Ruud
players
van
हमेशा से
Nistelrooy.
sacked, not sacked to be honest, but removed, right? So तू अगर देखे, आई पर्सनली थिंक द प्रॉब्लम इज विद द प्लेयर्स. एंड देख, ऐसा नहीं कि दे आर नॉट हंग्री, दे आर वेरी हंग्री, बट and Ruben Amorim is going to suffer. Ruben Amorim is going to suffer. एंड जो हाइप अप किया जा रहा है करेंटली रूबन अमोरिम की यूनाइटेड को लेके, आई डोंट थिंक इट्स वैलिड, बिकॉज देख, ऐसा दिखाया जा रहा है कि इट्स अ प्री सीजन. तू देखता है ना, प्री सीजन में जब एक क्लब को टेक ओवर करता है मैनेजर, तो न्यूज आती है भाई, ही इज प्लेइंग हिम एज द राइट विंग बैक इन द ट्रेनिंग, हमें ये दिख रहा है भाई, एरा एरा आने वाला है, राइट? समथिंग न्यू इज बिल्डिंग भाई, he'll play this, revolutionize फुटबॉल. सो ऐसा हो रहा है करेंटली. एंड लेट मी रिमाइंड यू, दिस इज नॉट अ प्री सीजन. So United and the media and obviously the fans are treating this game and this part of Premier League as a pre-season, right? So I personally think a very very tough time for United. And bhai, we hope United gets back. Amorim अच्छा काम करे, is a young manager, bhai, he's a फाड़ू manager bhai. But देयर इज स्टिल मेरे अंदर वो अभी भी थोड़ा डाउट है कि will he or will he not be able to do it. Let's see. And I've talked enough. Kaden, what are your views?
Firstly, to correct you, I feel this is a very important part. This is a very important phase for Amorim. ठीक है,
Okay.
like as you said, ठीक है, they are treating it as a preseason. But to remind you that it was actually going to be a preseason move, unless Man United pulled off a class and just won the FA Cup. It was going to be Ten Hag being sacked. So it was a preseason move, but unfortunately City lost. United won a class game, and Ten Hag remained, and he remained for these couple of games. He got his chance. Fair enough, okay, all that. But now the test for Amorim is, as you said, as both of you mentioned, that the players is the test. He has his own skills, he has his own tactics, but how he implements it in this team, ये team में जैसे आएगा, is the main test. And yeah, talking about my thing, like जो what I would like to see is how he uses his defense. क्योंकि we have seen him use his three in the back, okay, and uses wing backs very well. So I'd like to see what his combinations are, how he would like his defenders to work. Because we troll United for their defense. The defense is the main, meme. So I would like to see how the defense is converted. And it would like I would like to see United back in the top 10. I'll not say top 6, top 10 at least. Amorim cooking a bit, getting some things in line, and yeah, let's see what he does.
So yeah, I, Kaden, will agree with you in some points, but also मैं तुझे फिर बता देता हूँ कि तूने बोला कि वो प्री सीजन ही आने वाला था. देख, would have, could have, should have, वो अलग चीजें होती हैं, एंड प्रेजेंट में जो हो रहा है, that is a different thing. So it is going to be tough. And तूने बोला लाइनअप्स पे भी, तूने बोला कि he plays this, he plays that. We'll be talking about that as well. So before moving on to the lineups जो कि मे भी हो सकती है यूनाइटेड की अंडर मिस्टर रूबन अमोरिम, anything you guys have to add on? Just raise your
I
hand.
mean,
Yeah, Atharva, you
I
can
mean,
move. You can.
very realistically speaking, I mean, yes, this is not a preseason tour. Ipswich Town छोटे सा क्लब है वैसे. उन्होंने एक ही टीम को हराया है, वो टीम भी इतनी अच्छी है नहीं वैसे. But I think well, Kaden, first of all, तूने बोला कि Ruben Amorim was supposed to be there like when Ten Hag or before Ten Hag won the FA Cup. मेरे को नहीं लगता उस टाइम पे रूबन आमोरिम को लिया जाता, क्योंकि आई थिंक द रीजन रूबन आमोरिम को रिक्रूट किया है यूनाइटेड ने is because of the success that Sporting has had. And
And also, nobody was available in the market at this point of time.
exactly.
Let me remind
It's
you.
a lot more difficult because उस time पे you had a lot of options. I won't say quite a lot, but उस time पे Thomas Tuchel was in the air of being
Deserve भी था.
hired. Exactly. De Zerbi and alongside Gareth Southgate, who had very recently managed England as well.
Yeah.
So, while yes, this Ruben Amorim ka recruitment is a very last-ditch effort, it's a very positive last-ditch effort. And speaking of कि United क्या करेगी and कैसे करेगी, and United के players का क्या reaction वगैरह होता है, I think this is, I think Manchester United can be based a lot upon what Bayern Munich went through between 2012 and 2019. Between those 8 to 10 years, there were like 6 to 7 managers that have managed Bayern Munich. And no season, every season, a manager won at least 2 trophies. I mean, that is very commendable. I mean, while yes, the players definitely would have preferred for a manager to stay there in order for them to not have to change their style of play and their tactics every single season. But players in clubs like Manchester United have are too much endorsed and are too much engulfed in their own egos and self identity, so much as so that they would rather kick out managers than change themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason. There's a reason why players like David De Gea. He's the only person who's actually stayed at Manchester United when they were vulnerable. He's the only one who's performed, and they did not renew his contract. They released him. I mean, Manchester United is very, they're very non-forgiving in terms of performances, especially with the players. Because we've noticed that like Ronaldo का contract terminate कर दिया था, and that is a very big thing, right? Ayushman.
Look, तू बोल रहा है कि performance based वो decisions लेते, but I don't think this is the situation and this is what United does. क्योंकि भाई अगर ये performance based होता ना, Rashford would have been out already. There would have been a lot of players. अभी कितने players भाई? Lindelof, he would have been out already. Martial इतने साल से he would have been out, right? Very very early, right? So देख, मुझे नहीं लगता कि performance based है. I just think कि it is a poorly organized and managed club. So yeah, I don't know.
That is a very good point. Kaden would like to make a point as well. Kaden, please.
So yeah,
I would like to mention कि it's also the relationship he has with the manager, because I feel कि like most of the releases have been because they don't have a good relationship with Ten Hag. Ten Hag has sacked them because of like Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. That was a big reason. So yeah, I feel performance like thoda they are overlooking the performance and they are looking at the relationship, I feel, with the manager. And he himself is like, okay, let's not. Yeah.
So I would like to add a very a very important point. I think जब Eric Ten Hag भी आया था, I think everyone was speaking about Eric Ten Hag the same way we are talking about Ruben Amorim right now, and we've noticed this with United quite a lot. When they start with a manager, they start going up, they reach their peak within 6 to 7 months, and then they're very inconsistent after a point where, to a point, or like after a certain amount of time, the players have falling out with the manager due to the players not performing and the manager obviously wanting them to give their best every single time and every single year. I think Manchester United, what they should or probably try to do, well, they are currently doing it, hiring a very young manager. But I think it's a lot more important for them to hire a manager like Jurgen Klopp. They people managers who are not more tactical, but they bring the best out of the players. And while yes, Ruben Amorim has one of the best tactics in the world, and we can speak about tactics all we want, but at the end of the day, you cannot pull off miracles unless and until you believe in yourself. And what United need right now is a miracle. Ruben Amorim, yes, he has done and had a miracle with Sporting, but that's also due to Sporting having a lot of young players, a lot of ambitious, very, very, very relentlessly hungry players, players that aren't famous enough to have their own social self identity. I think Manchester United, for the past 4 or 5 years, has made a lot of decisions. Yes, somewhat on performance, but mostly on the club image.
Mm.
I mean, Ronaldo speaking with Piers Morgan about how difficult it was for him to go to Manchester United and see the training facilities still same after 10 to 15 years. Manchester United was not able to handle that. And I think a club should definitely make much better decisions. I mean, I think nostalgia को एकदम book
रिक्रिएट
करने
करना.
का कुछ फायदा नहीं है. Exactly. I
ट्रू.
mean, उनके stadium को ही देख लो, Old Trafford. It's falling apart right now. Quite literally. I mean, the roof has flooded quite a lot of times, and players have had difficulties in that stadium. The people watching the matches have had difficulties in that stadium. And I mean, Ineos group के आने से yes, it's a very good thing कि उनको funding मिली है and उनको investments मिली है. But it has also they have not lost their decision making based on club image, and I think that is what needs to change from the management.
सो या भाई, देख इस पे मैं यही ऐड ऑन करूंगा कि ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड इज फॉलिंग डाउन, फॉलिंग डाउन, फॉलिंग डाउन. ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड इज फॉलिंग डाउन. गॉड कॉल इनियोस. सो या देख, आई एग्री तूने जो बोला. आई एग्री आल्सो विद केडन, ऑल्दो वी हैव हैड सम ऑफ द डिफरेंसेस जो कि या वी शुड हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ ओपिनियन, क्योंकि देखो स्प्लिट होगा. एंड या नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द लाइनअप्स जो कि हो सकती है, द पॉसिबल 11. सो हियर इट इज इन द स्क्रीन भाई. So, by as we know, कि Mr. Ruben Amorim likes to play that 3-4-3. All of us know that. And if we look into that 3-4-3 के हिसाब से, well, we see three at the back with Martinez, Delict, Lindelof, and the four-man midfield with Mazrui, Casemiro, Ugarte, and Delo. Then up front, we can see Garnacho on the left-hand side. Right-hand side, we can see Mr. Rashford, and up top, we can see Holland. So, firstly, ये possible lineup है. Before I add, I would like to go on to Atharva. Atharva, what would you add up
Uh,
to this lineup?
so, well, नीचे से ऊपर जाते हैं. Obviously, first speaking about the defense, Lindelof is a very good holding defender. I think he has a good defensive awareness. He's able to make a lot of tackles. But if you have such a loaded midfield, you should not be focused, or you should not be, relying on defensive abilities of a person who is good while defending counter attacks. Because you already have two defenders in, well, Dalo and Masraoui, who are up front, running back and front as wing backs. You have Casemiro and Ugarte, who I will make changes to. You have two midfielders who are able to hold the midfield positions very well. You have wing backs that are running back and forth. So I do not think Lindelof would be a good addition to this team. Someone who probably would be a good addition to this team is Lenny Yoro. He's a very young, ambitious, very speedy, and very agile defender. I think yes, he definitely does not have the experience needed to work in the tactical system that Ten Hag had. But I do think Lenny Oro will definitely work in a three at the back formation with Dillit at center. Delete. Speaking about delete, I had and still notice it, and I've seen all of the score sheets and all of the records. Delete is a very good defender who has ball playing abilities. We've seen it at Ajax, we've seen it at Juventus, and we've seen it at Bayern Munich. He is the very amazing defender who is also able to somewhat transition into a central defensive midfielder, somewhat like John Stones used to. Only John Stones used to carry the ball. Delit is very good at distributing the ball, and I think this back three would be fine. as long as Lenny Yoro is added instead of Victor Lindelof. Speaking about the wing backs, I think these wing backs are amazing. Mazraoui and Dalo, both of them have had experiences playing at wing back positions. Dalo and Mazraoui, both of them who start at the international level for very amazing international giants like Morocco and Portugal, respectively. They also start for Manchester United on a regular basis. Uh, I think there is one slight thing that I would like to throw up in the air. That is Anthony. Yes, I know both of you are probably laughing right now,
No, no,
but
no, no. We are not.
Anthony and the whole world is. Anthony is the highest tackle making winger in the Premier League, and he has been since he joined the Premier League. He's made the most tackles while being a winger. He's an offensive player who definitely does have good qualities, but I think a lot of those qualities are being able to snatch the ball while it's in the midfield. While yes, Dalo and Mazraoui are probably the best options, I think Anthony is a very good shout to bring it up, as Anthony has played left midfielder and right midfielder and left winger and right winger on multiple occasions. I think when if Manchester United players are healed from their injuries, I think Luke Shaw will also be trying to be integrated into this team. I think he would very much rather play in the position Mazraoui is, but I feel the offensive prowess that Mazraoui has, I do not feel Luke Shaw has that, which is why if in case Luke Shaw does, get healed quickly and starts playing, I think he would play at centre back instead of a wing back position. For the midfield, I think Ugarte is probably the best option you're gonna have in this type of a formation. Casemiro, I would probably have put Casemiro in this position had I not seen him play at Manchester United for the last 2 years. But for a change, the best option, I think, better than Ugarte is Kobe Mainu. He's an amazing, very young, talented player. I think Kobe Mainu is currently injured for a while. Until
Yeah.
then, while yes, Casemiro can play in that position, I think a very good shout would be to bring Bruno Fernandes back to what his original position is for Portugal and well was for Portugal and for Sporting CP. Bruno Fernandes used to play in a very number 8 box to box midfielder position, which Casemiro is shown to be in right now. While Bruno Fernandes, yes, he can play in the position that Casemiro is currently shown here. I think Bruno Fernandes can also play in that number 10 position that Garnacho and Rashford are holding. He's a very amazing, very talented, very versatile player. And speaking of the number 10 positions, Garnacho and Rashford are probably very two good options. I think I would switch Garnacho and Rashford to give them the ability to go out wide if necessary to help Dalo and Mazraoui while being or while having possession in the opposition box. Rashford can definitely go on the left side of the number 10, and Garnacho, who has been playing at right wing and left wing both multiple times. I think Garnacho would be able to handle it quite well as he has in those positions before. I think Hoyland and Onana are probably the only players that do not need analysis of. They're very amazing players, both of them. Onana, yes, all of us made memes on him last season. I personally thought it would be better if De Gea came back to Manchester United. But I feel Onana has proved himself time and time again. At least this season, he definitely has with the most clean sheets in the Premier League. And Hoyland, who has one of the best shot to goal ratios in the world, and he's a very amazing, young, fast, quick, well versed, and very non versatile or very target man type of player. I think he is what Ruben Amorim thinks is like. Gyökeres, obviously has a lot more
Yeah.
experience if none of you knew. Gyökeres is 26-year-old, and I believe Hoyland is around 21 to 23 years old. So Hoyland definitely does have a lot more potential to live up to, which is why I think, these are probably what the changes I would make to the match against Ipswich Town.
आई थिंक भाई अथर्व तूने लिख दिया है लंबा चौड़ा ऐसे एंड भाई आई डोंट हैव एनीथिंग टू ऐड अप, एंड मैं लास्ट में ऐड करूंगा ऑब्वियसली, बट आई आल्सो गो ऑन टू केडन. केडन, whatever Athava said, would you like to correct him in some aspect, or do you agree with what he's trying to convey?
I do agree. I feel कि like whatever he mentioned, I think it was on point. ठीक है, like comparing Amorim's work at Sporting, he usually likes his fast defensive players. So that's why I think he would go for players like Euro, as you mentioned, Lenny Euro, you know, and again Kobe Menu in the midfield. So I think he'll need young players to start. He'll need his young talent to grow. That's how he likes it. He likes, growing talent, which he has done in Sporting. So yeah, nothing much to add. I feel we have the exact same lineup mentioned. So yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
But both of you guys have spoken a lot, apart from Kaden भाई, थोड़ा बहुत बोला Kaden ने, but
हाँ,
bro spoke proper impact दिया भाई उसकी जो बातें थी. And even Atharva, you made good points, but also to add up to both of you guys, देखो, I don't think कि Amorim is going to play the 3-4-3 here in United, at least for the first game. क्योंकि जब तू यहाँ देखता है ना, ये जो स्क्रीन पे लाइनअप आ रही है, थोड़े बहुत चेंजेस तूने किए, थोड़े बहुत केडन ने किए, बट रिगार्डलेस अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट इट्स ऑलमोस्ट द सेम. तो जब तू देखता है ना, द बैक थ्री ऑफ मार्टिनेज, डिलिक्ट एंड लिंडलॉफ, एंड फिर तू मिडफील्ड में देखता है कैसेमेरो, उगारते, भाई आई ओनली थिंक 3-4-3 फॉर्मेशन देख के कि गॉड सेव यूनाइटेड भाई, गॉड सेव यूनाइटेड. क्योंकि कैसेमेरो वी ऑल नो खत्म है, पेस नहीं है बंदे में, बिल्कुल नहीं है, देयर इज
living
नथिंग.
living on an oxygen tank.
हाँ, लिविंग ऑन एन ऑक्सीजन टैंक, वो एक टाइम था, ही यूज्ड टू बी ग्रेट, इज स्टिल ग्रेट, बट वो पेस वेस नहीं है, ही इज वास्ट. I don't think he'll be starting with a 3-4-3 formation. I think he'll be rather going a bit on the conventional side. थोड़ा conserve करेगा, थोड़ा conservative खेलेगा फुटबॉल, because obviously it's a first game. Maybe future में वो 3-4-3 लागू करे वहां पे. So yeah, अथर्व.
I have a very important thing to say. I think Casemiro, since he does not have pace anymore, what he can try to do is what Emre Can has done. Do you guys know Emre Can? He is the
Yeah,
captain of Dortmund in the finals. So
yeah.
Emre Can, when he was playing at Liverpool, was probably one of the best players at Liverpool at that particular point in time. Not one of the best, but he was quite impactful and he was very amazing. When he eventually went to Dortmund, he played at the central defensive midfield position for 1.5 years. After which lockdown occurred and all of the things have happened. Quarantine happened, and after coming back from quarantine, he realized he did not possess the pace that he usually had, which is why he switched to a centre back. And at centre back, I think he probably gave the best performances Dortmund has ever seen at the defensive positions ever. And Casemiro definitely does have the caliber to switch to a centre back position. And changing it around, maybe having Martinez as a right side centre back and having Casemiro as a left side centre back. Maybe in the future, if Manchester United do not have defensive position or centre back positions anymore, say Mazraoui, Luke Shaw, and Lenny Oro, all three of them are injured. Now, probably what would be best for them is to have Anthony on the left midfield, have Kobe Mainu at what Casemiro is right now, and have Casemiro play the position which I believe Lenny Oro should fill. So I do think Casemiro can do that. Yes, Ahishman, I think you have a
Yeah,
point.
well, there are a very मतलब बहुत सारे ifs and buts हैं, there are maybes, there are might happen, कुछ भी हो सकता है, injuries
Woulda,
might
coulda, shoulda.
happen. So yeah, anything can happen, and I hope United gets back to the winning ways under Mr. Amorim, although it is going to be tough. But yeah, I think we have talked enough about lineups. By we have wrote a lot of essays, and
नहीं,
Kaden
last
has something to add. Kaden has something
last
to add.
मुझे पूछना था कि like what are your thoughts about Harry Maguire? Like what do you think Amorim will do with him? Can he use him as an option
No.
for Lenny Oro or
I
even Delict
I
for that matter?
I do not think Harry Maguire is a good option as a replacement for Lenny Euro, maybe for Martinez. I think Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof are two very similar centre backs. They have very good defensive awareness. They have very good defensive abilities. They're very good at tackling aerial battles, and they're able to snatch the ball from other players and opposition players. But I do not think. I think will happen to Harry Maguire at Manchester United is similar to what happened to say Otamendi at Manchester City. Pep realized that he needed John Stones as a a midfield option, and he knew to in order to create that defensive stability, he definitely needed to switch Kyle Walker to a centre back position, which basically meant Otamendi did not have any positions to fill and was not able to fill any positions due to John Stones being such an amazing player during that time. Uh, yes, Harry Maguire is a great player. I do think he should go to another club. I think he can definitely try his luck at clubs like say West Ham, maybe Aston Villa, some up and coming mid table clubs, say Brighton as well. I think he would be a good opportunity. I think he would get a good opportunity at Brighton. And but I do not think Harry Maguire would be a good option at or for Manchester United under Ruben Amorim.
या इवन देख मैं भी सेम सोचता हूँ कि हैरी मैग्वायर अंडर एमोरिम ही इज नॉट मेकिंग इट बट हैरी मैग्वायर इज अ ग्रेट लीडर ही हैज गॉट दैट पैशन एंड भाई मैं मिड टेबल टीम्स ही नहीं इवन इफ हैरी मैग्वायर प्लेज under the managers who has the caliber of Jose Mourinho, he'll do great things क्योंकि इंग्लैंड में हम देखते हैं भाई he does do great things. So yeah, Caden, answering your question, Harry Maguire is not making it under Amorim's new United.
Fair enough.
Yes. And any other question that you may have, Mr. Caden, sir?
Nope, nothing to add on.
So I
I
think
think I have one thing to add on.
what do you have?
What do you guys think about Joshua Zirkzee at this United under Ruben Amorim?
I think अगर तू अभी बात कर रहा है ifs, mays, buts, कौन प्लेयर क्या करेगा, who would do what, there could be a whole different video क्योंकि देख we have not talked about Bruno a lot, we have not even talked about players जो bench पे बैठे हैं नहीं, even those who are in bench, right? Because there is a lot to cover and I think we can make a lot of content out of it. So I think let's leave it aside, right? Content और बनाते हैं, right? Do you guys want to cover up in this video only or make up more content, bhai?
More content. ज़्यादा
content.
वाला distribute है.
So yeah, talking about more content, I think we'll take up the predictions now. Predictions of the game between United and Ipswich Town. बिल्कुल शॉर्ट में भाइयों, बिल्कुल शॉर्ट में बताओ the lineups and who do you see? Not the lineups, the score line and who do you see winning, right? So I'll start off with Caden. Caden, your predictions for the game.
I think United will set up a good mark. First match under Amorim, a 3-1 win. I do think they'll concede. क्योंकि when you try something new, you always get something back as well. So 3-1 is a fair enough scoreline, I feel. And yeah, I think Hoyland will score too. Let's see, hopefully, under his new techniques, if he performs or not. But I am predicting a 3-1.
Atharva, next up.
I feel it will be a 2-0 victory for Manchester United. Manchester United are going to keep a clean sheet. Andre Onana will outperform what he has done in the past few months and years. I do think Hoyland will score one goal, but for the sake of my FPL team, I hope Bruno Fernandes scores as well.
Okay, both of you guys are predicting कि United is winning. Well, जब दो लोग सेम उस पे हो ना, सेम टेक हो दोनों का, तो हाँ, तो बैलेंस करने के लिए एक चाहिए जो अगेंस्ट हो. सो फॉर दैट आई एम प्रेडिक्टिंग
दो लोग करते रहे.
बट दे हाँ, लेट्स गो. सो या मेरी प्रेडिक्शन अगर तू पूछता है, अ 2-1 विक्ट्री फॉर इप्सविच. 90+ मिनट पे इप्सविच विनर मार रही है, जो कि यूनाइटेड के साथ होता है. सो 2-1 विक्ट्री फॉर इप्सविच. 2-1 victory for
Screening
Ipswich.
करेंगे इसका.
Yeah. We'll watch it. We'll obviously watch it. But we'll also talk
Discord
about
पर.
it in the देखते हैं Discord पे and post match भी हम बनाते हैं भाई. We will talk about it.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I think
have
we'll
to.
wrap up the video now. We'll wrap up the video. It's been very long. Thank you, Kaden, once again for
Yeah.
joining. Athav again for joining. सब्सक्राइब कर लो अपने चैनल को. अपना ही चैनल है
Share
अब
करो.
ये. Yep, share करो, like and comment down your thoughts as well, your predictions. And before ending up, I would like to add up, and also if you would like to add up something, मेरे बाद add up कर देना. So I would like to add up is, I am only believe Ruben Amorim bhai. Ruben Amorim bhai is the game changer only. Ruben Amorim is the game changer bhai only. Only.
Yes.
So
True.
anything would
True.
you guys, you guys agree, right? He is the game changer only.
Yes,
Yes.
has to.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Much like Virat Kohli, I think United will perform at first, then not perform, then will perform, then not perform. Have very
And
big inconsistencies and consistencies.
will stay in
so
London.
so yeah, game changer he is only. Game changer he is only.